Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guests here, Colonel Tony Niam and Mr. Leo Yubade. But Malkwe has a question for you, gentlemen. Malkwe.
Thank you, Ayo. Just wondering, how AIG would react to insinuations that it's still business as usual in the police stations. He's talked about community policing and how everybody should come on board. I mean, he wants more other institutions of government to work with them. He also wants more of the people to work with the Nigeria police. But is the police doing enough in-house, especially at its front desk, at the normal police stations, not at the central ones where the bosses are present, but the ones that people need to report to? Are they doing enough to clean out the desk and ensure that people are able to approach the police without fear, without apprehension that these people could be colluding with the criminals or the bandits? I'll give you an instance. Talk about this fuel tanker, which was 8 of them caught loading around the Abeson estate area, siphoning diesel. People would say that that area was open enough for people to have seen that this kind of thing was going on. But unfortunately, 7 of those tankers escaped. Only one of them couldn't because an electricity wire fell on it and caused a fire, and that's where that was exposed. People will say that if people were confident enough or felt confident enough to report to the police, that sort of information ought to have reached the authorities. How would you react to that?
Thank you. Now, building back the trust and confidence is what we're doing now. Because in those days, you said you want to give information to the police. Yes, that the police will give you out. I say no. Today, what I do and what I continue to tell members of the public, know who you are giving the information to. And let me tell you what I do in my zone. We've given out all the numbers, all our numbers that are important for members of the public to know if they're in distress. That is the control room. The control room in the 3 states work 24/7. Anytime you are in distress, you can call and there must be response. And we have improved on our response time to distress calls. So what we are saying is, if you go to a police station, walk to the DPO. You know the name of the DPO, you know the station you have reported. If the man mismanaged the information, then you know who to hold responsible. You can walk to the area commander and say, I gave the information to the DPO, he did not do it. If you give to area commander and he mismanaged the information, you can walk to the commissioner of police and on like that. But where you give information to somebody you cannot pin on, you cannot hold that person responsible if he doesn't hold the information with all confidentiality it deserves. But outside that, I want to say that all the need to collaborate is very vital now. And we have opened up security desks that you can complain. We have a response from people that have complained, and we have dealt with people that did not do well. People they are being reduced if they are tried on only room and they are culpable. So we have an internal mechanism that deal with such culprits in the Nigeria police. I want to enjoin members of the public to openly come and tell us information. Information is key. If you don't give us, we cannot be all over the place.
AIG, you don't think that that's where the problem lies? Because when you say that people should openly come, people would say that if you wanted to gain the trust of the people, perhaps one of the ways to have done this would have been for anonymous reports to be able to come into the police. Do you have a system where people can anonymously report, and where action is, where you find that there is actionable intelligence, that something is done and people see it, you would of course credit the anonymous information which you got or the tip-off, so that people will know that this thing actually works?
All the police stations have suggestion box, information box. You get there, you don't have to put your name, you put information there. And in my zone, I have a number, a dedicated number. As I'm speaking now, I cannot pick my calls. But I have a dedicated number that is circulated in the zone that I live here now, I'm going to access it. And if there are other complaints I've seen there, you don't even need to put your name. We address the issues that are raised without even knowing who is giving us the information. Even when the information is not right, we still look at it. So we are developing, and we hope that members of the public should look at that, take the opportunity to give us the information, because we cannot be all over the places.
In terms of equipment, even though there are issues with that, because some people will say that, it would seem that that's your personal initiative. That usually what happens is when one AIG leaves, another AIG comes in, and that might die with the AIG that left that position. But some people will also talk about what should happen, with the police. What is the system of reportage when people suffer cases of kidnapping, which is still on the rise? Sadly, in spite of the police efforts to try and curb it. What would you say, has the police been able to develop a standard mode of operation or a standard practice when families come to report that their loved ones have been kidnapped?
When a report is made, of course, we try and get more information from who is giving us the report. And some people come and they don't even want to open up on how it happens. And it is based on the information that is given to you that you are going to work upon. And that is the issue that we need to address. To gain conviction, two vital issues: legal issues and evidential requirements. Legal issues, fine. We can start looking at the law. Has it been able to address? Is it addressing kidnapping? But when the witnesses don't come up, somebody who is even aware and who is relevant will just say, I don't want to come up. So these are the things that we are saying, that the public must be willing to assist. Because if the evidential requirements are not there, we cannot get diligent prosecution. All these are also in conjunction with other stakeholders when it comes to administration of criminal justice. And you take, for example, if you have a serious crime and you send the file to the office of the DPP, we are expecting legal advice. So we work in conjunction with other departments. It's not only the police that is going to do it. The judiciary is there. And I always say it, that when there is any increase in crime or whatever, people tend to look at the police. The correctional houses are there also. Are they performing? When somebody is released from prison, I was commissioner of police in Oyo, people are released and 3 days after, I rearrest committing the same crime. So there are things we should look at, not only thinking that police are going to do all. All of us, we must work together. Those of us that are critical stakeholders in the administration of criminal justice in this country, and I must admit that things are changing for better. But we need to tell the members of the public to also have a change of heart. You have a police now that is changing. We are moving. I was in Ondo yesterday. I was in Akure, had meeting with all those that are helping us in terms of getting intelligence to be able to address the kidnapping that is ravaging our society.
Well, I don't know what kind of Ian makes of the steps which you have enumerated, to enable the public be a part of the fight to curb kidnapping. But Colonel, can you tell us, especially you're mixing more with the civilian populace. Would you say that from the conversations that you have had with people, that they are confident that the police has been sufficiently equipped or that it's been sufficiently reformed to be able to take on the challenges of kidnapping?
I think really, like Mokwe, since ages I've been saying that the amount of police force we have compared to the population is so low. Two, the police lack, which they used to have, proper intelligence. And of course, in these days of technology, the police need to be better equipped with modern technology. And the area of human intelligence is very key. I think that's where the police is lacking. On the issue of the way the police respond to, let me even say, there was a case where an Okada guy hit somebody and they called the police. The police was overwhelmed by the Okadas. The Mopo guy was beaten by the Okadas. So, I mean, and then everybody became scared. So this is what I'm saying. We need much more police. And I would have also thought, like Afonso said, that this is the time we need to employ more into the police service so that they have a sizable number befitting the population they are dealing with. But I haven't also said the police also need to ensure that with what the sense I'm getting in your question is that the police need to sell themselves and do more in improving their relationship with the ordinary civilian, because most civilians are very biased against the police, and some of them, there are reasons for that. But I haven't said this. All this cannot be blamed on the operations, that is the police. It is the government. It is the signal the government gives that would help. The government needs to take security much more seriously than it's taking. The security is not only the security of the big men, because you still see police guiding the big men, and whilst the poor man is not guided. And the government needs to respect court rulings. Once government is not obeying court rulings, it's sending wrong signals to the community. And that in itself is a form of corruption. And so, for example, court will give judgments, the government will not respect that. The government is indirectly undermining the judiciary. And in effect, it's also undermining the police, because these agencies work together. So policing is not only to be left to the police. The role of the government is very critical.
Well, that is a given, Colonel Liam. What do you make of the inter-agency rivalry that's happened over time?
Fantastic.
You know, especially between the army and the police.
Fantastic. A very good question. I was discussing earlier with the AIG. In the UK, even in an army barracks cantonment, a military police or soldier cannot arrest a civilian. A military police, they have a police there. Now, we see the DSSS arresting people. It never happens. In the UK, that's why you have the police special branch. The special branch of the police is actually SSS within the police. In other words, it's only the police in a democracy that have the authority to arrest anybody. But because the police over time, with the military being in government, lost that power, you now have every agencies doing what the police role should be doing.
20 years into a democracy, and you're still saying this, Colonel Liam.
Do we have democracy yet? If we have democracy, will Sowore still be in detention? We don't have democracy. Come on. We are still working towards transiting to democracy.
So what do you, so we do not go off the conversation. So how do we begin to mend these fences between the security agencies, so that they can all work together for the peace and the security of the people?
We have to give the police its role. You see, police is the civil force. By being the civil force in a democracy, they are the ones that are the face of the establishment. Now, that's one. Secondly, we also have to deal with things at its roots. And this is where, again, I have to compliment the government. And again, people may not like what I am going to say. The recent closure of the borders, which the federal government embarked on, it has pains, but it's helped a lot in dealing with it, because the federal government, for a change, took a measure which is dealing with causes of criminals coming to Nigeria. It also has dealt with the arms that are coming into the country. If you know the amount of arms, and whilst I commend the IG, the only other person I commend in this government is the custom chap, Colonel Ali. has been one of the only people who are really pushing corruption.
Okay.
Because the rest, and many of the others, are just pretending. Now, what we need is that the customs is a civilian force. The police is a civilian force. They are the ones who should play the role, not the military.
Okay.
So,
All right. Now, so, Colonel, Mr. Ibade, you also talked about this inter-agency cooperation.
All right.
We know all the issues that have happened between the army and the police over time. What's the police doing to mend these fences so that the people can feel safer?
Now, let's start from why do we normally have it? I want to state that with my experience, it's normally from the lower ranks. At the upper echelon, we don't have problems. We meet, we socialize, we discuss, we interact, we share information vertically, horizontally, we don't have problems. So when I came as Commissioner of Police in Oyo, there was this operation Bust that was, on ground. And it's something that brings all the security agencies together. And I told the governor, I said, for us to make success, let it be that each organization will be on its own. If we have problems, we come together. If you put a policeman, a sergeant, and an Air Force, when they get inside the same vehicle, who is in charge will be the first problem. And they will contest that one for 1 hour. And more so, when there are issues to be taken to court, they will not look at getting the evidence. It is police that knows what to look for. So what I'm saying in effect is this. We need to bring them together into a classroom environment and talk to them, dialogue with them. We need to counsel them. We need to do some capacity building for our rank and file and the lower ranks, the inspectors from outside and warrant officer, and that's what we plan to do. I've written something in that direction.
Okay.
When we bring them together, we'll tell them you are working towards the same goal. They will know that there's no need for any rivalry. And that is true.
Well, it's a good place to leave it. There's still so much to say because people still need to feel a lot safer. But we have to thank you very much for being here, gentlemen. Colonel Tony Ian, retired Army officer, thank you very much for your time. As well as Mr. Leye Oyebade, AIG of the police, in charge of Zone 11, overseeing Ondo, Oshun, and Oyo commands. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
In a little bit, we'll be focusing on a related issue, but something entirely different. Please stay with us.